Meanwhile, in Florida, the escape of two convicted murderers who used forged papers to get early release from serving lifetime sentences have court officials tightening procedures to prevent this from happening again. Officials have discovered that prior to this incident, at least 5 other inmates have attempted forgeries like this one, but only one of them succeeded in escaping, and that for only a few hours. Judge Phyllis Kotey, who has personally experienced having people trying to forge her signature to get prisoners released, is an associate professor at Florida International University College of Law, and she joins us via Skype. Judge Kotey, I'm almost going to call you Phyllis because we've talked so many times, but thank you so much for being with us. I do appreciate it. I guess what I want to understand is explain the system for a prisoner, an inmate, to get early release, and how these cases that we've heard about, up to 7 now, have been able to sort of game the system.
Well, what has happened, and I think part of the success of what has happened, is that these orders are originating in the area where the inmate was originally sentenced. And then they're being sent to the prison that is in a different area. So conceivably, they won't know the judge's signature. So if the order looks like it's coming from the area where it's supposed to come from and is ordering that the sentence be reduced, then the prison is releasing them, and that's what's happening.
And I understand that particularly in the case of the 2 inmates that just escaped at the end of September and in October and that are now back into custody, that those papers were put in a mail drop box or something. No human being physically scrutinized those papers. Is that a common occurrence?
It is a common occurrence that there are drop boxes throughout the judicial system to expedite paperwork, to make it go faster, so that one of the changes that Judge Belvin Perry immediately instituted is judicial orders can no longer be placed in drop boxes, because it did make it very convenient for someone to simply slip a paper in there that appears to be a legitimate order.
So clearly, when you heard of this story of these 2 gentlemen, one of which was Charles Jenkins, it didn't surprise you.
It didn't surprise me. It surprised me that they were successful, but it certainly didn't surprise me that the attempt had been made. Such attempts have been made many times, and I recall getting calls from the jail that were verified. Judge, we just got an order releasing this certain individual on their own recognizance. Did you order that? And I would simply say, no one from this office ordered that. Do not release that prisoner. So the success, at least with oral orders, is that generally the jail will call, but these have been meticulously prepared written orders, and almost was successful, but haven't been successful. In most cases.
Yeah, there's some interesting coincidences in this case. One of the 5 previous who was able to escape for a few hours was transferred to the same facility where the 2 inmates that did escape, Joseph Jenkins and Charles Walker, where they escaped from. And so there's a possibility that there had been some corroboration or some collusion on that part. Amongst your colleagues within the criminal justice community that you are a part of, what have you heard about how this was able to happen?
Well, I mean, they're still investigating, so anything I would say at this point would certainly be speculation, but it certainly appears that someone has to have some sort of inside information in terms of understanding how the system works. I mean, it certainly doesn't sound like the Department of Corrections or the prison system is involved, but certainly someone in the area where the inmate was originally sentenced is aware of the Dropbox process or was aware of that process and knew that papers could be easily slipped into that compartment.
Yeah, in this particular case, man, it's very fortunate that the relative of one of the murder victims, Roscoe Pugh, when he received a phone call of the release of Mr. Jenkins, I don't know if it was a he or she, but when that person then called to inquire about it, which is how they found out about it. But let me ask you this. So Judge Perry, who has said that now these orders have to be verified either by a judge or a judicial assistant first before they can be processed. Is that enough to fix the problem?
Well, it certainly is enough to have them verified in that way, because the additional thing that he required is that the judge's office or the judicial assistant then keep a log of every single order that they enter reducing or releasing a prisoner. And then further, a third stopgap was that the clerk's office then had to call the judge's office to verify that the judge had indeed sent such an order.
Do you think, is it possible that there are some other inmates that successfully forged their release documents and are out there undiscovered?
It certainly sounds like it could be a concern, but the fact that there were 7 attempted forgeries that were found and only 2 were successful leads me to believe that they've been able to catch those individuals that certainly were involved.
All right, Judge Phyllis Kotey, thank you so much. It's good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you again, too, Debbie.
We have an update in the story we reported last week of another capsized boat full of migrants, this time off the coast of Florida, who endured a fatal smuggling trip. 4 Haitian nationals who were among the 15 passengers on the overcrowded boat who were rescued near Miami have been released from U.S. custody, according to a Customs and Immigration official. 4 women, all Haitian, died in the accident. The U.S. government has launched a criminal investigation into the incident, and the 4 released Tuesday are now witnesses in the case. And you are watching Arise America.